Hi there, my name is Andrea, and this is High Literature, a program where I introduce books and comics to you, the viewer. Today I am going to talk about one of my favorite comics of all time. I've been reading this since I was in junior high. It's called Strangers in Paradise by Terry Moore. And one thing I would like to say right off the rip, Terry Moore is one of the few comic creators that I know of who works with his wife, Robin. I don't know about you people out there, but the thought of a husband and wife comic book creating team was just so cool to me. That was something that I always just, like, is that real? Does that actually happen? And yeah, Terry Moore and Robin Moore and Mike and Laura Allred, who do the Madman series. Gosh, I wonder if there has ever been any kind of crossover between Strangers in Paradise and Madman, because I gotta tell you, I think it would really work. I think that these two amazing couples should combine their powers and do a Strangers in Paradise and Madman crossover. How cool would that be? Oh my God, can we please make that happen? Oh, you could have so much fun with the title too. But anyway, we're going to talk about Strangers in Paradise. So, what brings me to, so when I first started doing this video thing, it stemmed from I love comics and I love books and I love talking about them and sharing them with people who either have no interest in comics at all and getting them into comics, or who are interested in comics but have never heard of the titles that I'm interested in, and just the whole process. And I always had in mind that I was going to do a Strangers in Paradise video, and I finally decided to do it because there is a new series out from that world, and it's called The Parker Girls. I was talking about it a little bit in my last video. It's like around minute 19, I think. So Parker Girls, they are a set of characters in the Strangers in Paradise world that I wouldn't, like I was saying in the other video, they're not, I wouldn't call them background characters, but they're not the main characters. But obviously in this, they are. They're getting their own spin-off series, and I got number one right here, and I can't wait to read it. And just to share, I also got, because I decided to spoil myself, the variant cover that is also signed. Thank you so much, Terry Moore. I really appreciate having these wonderful, wonderful things in my hands, and I can't wait to read it. But before I do, I'm going to talk about Strangers in Paradise first. And when I was thinking about how I would approach talking about this series, I got a little nervous because I was scared that I would get just so caught up in my own enthusiasm and would just kind of ramble on and not really go anywhere constructive with it. Just, oh, I love it so much, and that's all she wrote. And I don't want to do that with this because it warrants more. And then I remembered that once upon a time, I actually wrote an article entitled Why Everyone Should Read Strangers in Paradise, because I just love this title so much. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to find that article and I'm going to print out a copy and I'm just going to read it. And I found it and I read through it real quick just to make sure, because I wrote this in like 2013, 2014. It's been a while. And, you go over things that you've made before and maybe you don't like it so much. But no, it holds up. So I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, this is different. I guess kind of read from a script, but these are my own words. This was something that I wrote. So this is called Why Everyone Should Read Strangers in Paradise by Terry Moore. Oh, SIP, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I first discovered this title in a back issue box at my parents' comic book store. At the time, I was a ravenous devourer of all things Chris Claremont. The classic X-Men series were my peanut butter and jelly. I lived for the stuff, and I couldn't read the X-Men back issues enough, poring over the panels over and over again before rebagging the singles and placing them back in the box in numerical order. One day, a different comic popped up that I'd never noticed before. It looked so strange to me. The cover featured two young girls, a blonde sporting a wry smirk, cigarette dangling from her mouth, while her brunette counterpart stuck her tongue out and surreptitiously gave the smoking blondie bunny ears. But where were the costumes, the villains, the alien warfare, and the lasers? I put the comic back, wanting nothing to do with it. The last thing I was interested in was reading a story about two chicks dealing with whatever silly issues they were having, and went back to the epic trials and tribulations endured in the Dark Phoenix saga. But like the siren call that cannot be ignored, I kept going back to that oddball comic, growing more and more curious about those two girls. I finally caved one day and pulled the single from the box and read my first issue of Strangers in Paradise. If you're familiar with the series, then you know which issue I'm talking about. Where'd you go? I had it set. It's right in front of me. High school. Francine and Kachu. The world, Francine and Kachu. Upon finishing it, I knew there was no way in the world that I wasn't going to find out what happened next and what happened prior, come hell or high water. No way. Over the years, I became our own best customer, ordering the graphic novels as soon as they were published and catching up on the series by reading the past ones that were already released. And to think I believed they had silly issues. These characters were put through the grinder. I cried over X-Men, but full out bawled over Francine and Kachu. Like the late, great Kurt Vonnegut Jr. once said in regards to writing, be a sadist. Make terrible things happen to your characters, if only to see what they are made of. Moore definitely fills his quota. When I finished the final graphic novel in the series called Ever After, I literally set it down and cried. It was exhausting to read. Trying to make something last as long as possible while at the same time wanting nothing more but to learn what happened next was a task I had never undertaken before with anything the way I did with Strangers in Paradise. I was so bummed when it was over, so thrilled that it ended the way it did. With love. This is the final graphic novel in the series Ever After, and holy shit. Cried. I was so bummed when it was over, so thrilled that it ended the way it did, with love. That's all these two women ever wanted, Katina Chuvansky and Francine Peters, two people tripping and stumbling their way haphazardly through an obstacle course that we call life. These ladies went through it all. Murder, addiction, hate sex, love squandered, souls cheaply sold. And let's not forget about the leading male character, David. To hell and back he went on more than one occasion, all in the hopes of saving these girls from this wicked, wicked world and themselves. All of it, done for one thing and one thing only: love. It's all we want. It's all we need. Anyone who has it will tell you it's the only thing that matters, and everyone who has yet to attain it knows that no matter what they already do have, it's made better when shared with someone special. And these characters are special, revealing in the end that love isn't something that you can label with trite words like straight, gay, or lesbian. In the end, love is love is love. The story conveys that message with grace and beauty achieved through pain, suffering, and the will to never, ever, ever give up on those you love or die trying. People typically tend to enjoy the stories they do because they can relate to it in some fashion, and considering the content of Strangers in Paradise, it's no wonder it was a raging success with both women and men. Not the easiest feat to accomplish in the kingdom of comics. Hello, Cleo. The series never experienced a slump in sales. The demand was always sky high, the loyal readers chomping at the bit for the next issue, wondering what was going to happen next, what was going to be accomplished next, the next defeat, the next triumph. when Parker Girls dropped, the variant signed cover issue sold out in less than 30 minutes. Less than 30 minutes. Gone. This series is amazing. So imagine the sadness that settled like a funeral shroud when the announcement was made that the series was drawing to a close. And the enthusiasm that arose when it was announced that Terry Moore was going to release another story. Cleo wants out. You're going to have to wait. What it is, we'll just have to wait and see. And wait we will, for as we all learned from Francine Kachu and the rest of the SIP gang, patience, like love, is a virtue. And good things come to those who wait. And yeah, that was my little love letter to Strangers in Paradise. This series is so great. What ended up coming out next was, I know you want to go out. Okay, I'll let you out. Let's go. Bye, Cleo. See you in 5 minutes. Yes. These guys here. This takes place. Oh, now Robert wants to go out. You're not going to see Robert's tail go by because he doesn't have a tail, but we still love him. Yes, we do. Okay, you want to go out and play? Let's go. Bye bye, Robert. See you in 5 minutes. So, yes, this came out 2018. Yeah, 2018. And golly, it is good. I mean, it picks up, it flows right in with it. It just does such a good job. I'm trying to see how much time I have left. Okay, there we go. We are fine on time. I don't want to get too into what this is about because I am really bad about spoilers. I'm kind of infamous for it. I don't mean to do it. It just happens, but I spoil things. So I'm going to just stop there. Plus, I'll probably start crying a lot, and we don't want that. But gosh, yes. Parker Girls is out. Get this series. Get Strangers in Paradise. You will not regret it. It's so good. I mean, it's been almost, this debuted. This is issue number 1. I was sharing this in my last video. Came out in November 1993. So yeah, this is knocking on 30 years and going strong. So if that doesn't convince you that this is something worth investigating and investing a little time in, I don't know what will. But yeah, it's wonderful and lovely, and I could just gush on and on and on. So I'll go ahead and finish this here. Thank you so much, Terry Moore. Thank you so much, Robin Moore. Please team up with Mike and Laura Allred and do a crossover. That would be amazing. I'm going to go ahead and end this here. And if you are interested, I decided I've never really been in a situation like this before. So I decided I'm going to do another video, or I'm going to do one of those reactions. So yeah, I'm going to bust this bag open and read this while recording myself. I think it's very strange, but apparently it's a thing. So I'll go ahead and do the thing. And yeah, who knows? You might just end up seeing me cry after all. Okay, well, anyway, thank you. And I'll see you next time. Bye.